Yo.
God damn. We'll start in 10 seconds. Oh, okay.
Hey, we got to start sometime.
Jesus.
Are you guys ready?
Apparently
Are
not.
you guys ready to go to this mystical, magical country?
Oh, is it mystical?
I don't know.
Is this one mystical? You got Lord of the Rings on the mind or something?
No, I'm just joking. I'm actually not, I don't know. Not too much to talk about with this country, but hey, look, our last couple episodes, we've had some wild places. So,
Yeah.
you know, not every country can be crazy. Not every country can live up to the expectations of the other ones. But
I think we've had fun in all of them. So
yeah, no, I think we'll have fun. And I think there's some cool parts about this country, but it just doesn't have the, I don't know,
mystique.
the juicy mystique that we're used to at CountryBoyz here, especially after our last episode of Turkmenistan.
That was a crazy one. That was a crazy one.
Yeah. It's hard to, I mean, honestly, Turkmenistan, that might be one of the craziest out there. So it's hard to top that, but we'll see. So if you haven't guessed already, we're going to the country of Lesotho, which that's how you say it. So it's spelled Lesotho, or like when we're reading it in American English, that's how we'd say it. But
When you text us, hey, this is the country we're doing. Oh.
but yeah, so it's actually not pronounced Lesotho. It's Lesotho or Lesotho.
Lesotho. Can we all say it together?
Yeah.
Like
1, 2, 3.
Lesotho. Lesotho. Fuck.
All right. So we're back. Another episode. Back in Africa again. This one is pretty unique for Africa. So we're going to find some pretty cool things. Pretty, I don't know, pretty different than the rest of the continent, but we're back. Got the new studio again, so we're good to go. So
Thank God to our sponsors.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, never mind.
No.
Yin Yang.
Yin Yang Twins.
We're sponsored by Yin Yang, just the symbol.
The symbol.
But yeah, we're all here, all the CountryBoyz, so we're ready to go. But do you guys know anything about this place, or do you know where it's at? Let's go over the location.
Africa. You said
So it's in Africa.
I do know where it's at.
You kind of told us that.
Yeah.
And so the one kind of crazy thing about this place is it's in Africa, but it's also in South Africa. So it's completely surrounded by South Africa.
Ooh.
So it's one of 3 countries. We've been to one of these other countries before, but it's one of 3 countries that's a country completely surrounded by another country. Can you all guess?
Are we
One
going to
other
next?
country?
Completely. So its whole entire border is another country. In this case, it's South Africa. So there's South Africa. Lesotho's right in the middle. There's 2 others in the world. And
Luxembourg?
We've been to
Oh,
one.
yeah. Vatican.
Vatican's one of them. We haven't been there, though.
Oh, San Marino.
San Marino.
Yeah,
Look at
they're
Jason.
Italian.
Yeah. I remember. I remember that one.
So yeah, so it's a country that's completely surrounded within South Africa on all sides.
Andorra's got, I guess that's
Andorra's
2 countries.
landlocked,
Sure,
but
2
it's got
countries.
2 countries. So that's the difference. I think there was something when I was looking it up, it was like they have some term for it, but it's the countries that are completely landlocked, but it's like the landlocked gang or something. So this is in the landlocked gang, but this is in its own gang within the gang. That's the landlocked within a country gang. So just go through the run through. This is a pretty small country, so it's slightly bigger than Maryland. A lot of the things I was reading kept saying that it's the size of Belgium, more or less.
Okay, that
So
helps.
Maryland, Belgium.
Maryland does not help for you.
No, it does.
But Belgium does.
So the capital is Maseru. I think it's probably not how you say it because everything about this place, how you think you say it, is not. So spelt Maseru, 11,000 square miles, population's just over 2 million. So decent size for how small it is. They speak English, and then they have their own language with it, which is Sesotho, but it's probably Sesotho, judging by everything else.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's entirely in South Africa. Why? Like, why didn't South Africa just say, hey, we're going to take this place?
I'm guessing you're about to tell us.
No, I'm asking you. No, we'll get into that.
That would have required me doing research.
So the other thing with this place too, so they call it the Kingdom of the Sky. So it's super elevated. It's actually highest country, not by like the highest point in this country, but the lowest point in this country is higher than the lowest point in any other country.
Damn.
The lowest point in this country is higher than like every other country has a lower point.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's why they call it the Kingdom of the Sky. So the entire country lies above, like the lowest point is 1,000 meters, so a couple thousand feet up. Highest point, it doesn't have, these aren't super tall mountains, but I think 9,000 feet is probably the highest. So in between 3,000 to 8,000 is where the whole country is. So physically, we said it's mountainous. It does have some pretty nice terrain. It's kind of unique, and especially for Africa, where, I mean, there's not a lot of high mountains. It's cold there.
Hey, Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, so that there's Kilimanjaro, there's the Atlas Mountains in Morocco. There are higher mountains, but there's not a whole country where you're like, oh, they're living in the mountains.
Sure.
With Africa, it's very, there's a lot of desert, there's a lot of jungle, a lot of
Serengeti.
hot. Yeah. So this might actually be the coolest country. Cool by, temperature wise.
Okay.
Getting into the physical, so it's in between the Drakensberg and Melody mountain ranges. I know you guys were wondering, but
Yep. Drakensberg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Naturally.
but so I guess the Drakensberg mountains are in South Africa. It's kind of just surrounded in this little area by a couple mountain ranges. We said there's a lot of mountains. They have a lot of water. So that's another kind of weird thing for Africa, where there's a bunch of water, and that's actually one of their biggest exports, is exporting water to South Africa. And the more I was researching it, it kind of seems like that's almost why this country is existing, is just as like a country to sell water to South Africa. That's like their main export.
So like spring water or whatever, like somebody would,
Yeah. So because South Africa has a lot of water issues, they have a lot of natural water just from the mountains, and they have snow here. So
right.
A lot of the water that comes from here is directly exported to South Africa. But a lot of the people who live here don't actually have water. So they'll live on a lake, but they don't actually get the water on the lake because it's all South Africa's. So that's kind of weird.
Up.
But yeah, so it's known as white gold. And that's where more things with this country. Like, there is a lot of just kind of crazy, like, fucked up shit here, but it's also just like South Africa. Why don't you just take over this place and kind of relieve them from, I don't know.
Take the water.
But also,
like, got water.
Like, I think it seems like it might benefit the people, but I guess there's some sort of mutual kind of like, well, we don't really want it, and they don't really want to be part of South Africa. So just saying, it seems like it might be a matter of time before they're just like, all right, can you just take us over? Because shit's not going too well for them. But so having a lot of water, a lot of mountains, there's a lot of waterfalls. So they have so it's debatable. There's Victoria Falls is in Venezuela, which is kind of the recognized highest waterfall. They have an argument here, though.
Oh.
They're saying they have the highest. So the Tugela Falls, it's debatably the highest. And
gotten Guinness out there to measure this.
yeah, well, if you saw our last episode at Turkmenistan, big Guinness World Records.
They just need a strong dictator to get up there
Yeah.
and get Guinness Book of World Records out there.
So the issue, and I guess we could have our own CountryBoyz debate if this counts. So it's technically higher, but it's a series of falls. So the falls kind of cascade.
Yeah.
Where the one in Venezuela, it's just
Great
a
word.
direct fall. But how would you, if you guys were Guinness, who would you give it to?
Direct fall.
Direct fall?
Yeah.
But I think this is still uninterrupted. So it's not like it goes into a stream and goes over. It's still technically one waterfall.
Well, what's the definition of a waterfall?
Water that falls. I don't know. I mean,
Like
it's consistently falling.
If it lands somewhere and then has to go down again, how would you?
So would you say that's 5 waterfalls, even though it's just a little break in rocks?
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Hey, it sounds like you're on Lesotho
I'm giving it to Lesotho. Let's give them something. This country needs
Lesotho.
something.
Yeah, we'll practice that later.
Lesotho. Venezuela, like they got a lot going for them. They got oil. They got
They got the women.
oil. They got Jason's future wife, so
Ex-girlfriend.
and ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, she's in Ecuador.
Maybe
now.
it's both.
Past and present.
Yeah.
Future.
Hey, all together.
Ghost of Girlfriend's Past.
Oh,
Jason.
that's scary.
That's a
Scary,
Backyard
scary,
Boys
scary.
episode.
So this got
And
me
with their
thinking.
multiple
though-
personalities, that's like 30.
That's true.
So it got me thinking. This isn't a place you want to go chasing waterfalls, which brought me back to TLC's hit.
Yeah, it really is.
But we're not gonna really talk about TLC. Their album Crazy Sexy Cool.
Well, yeah. Oof.
Classic.
If you could only be one of those three things, what would you be? Crazy, sexy, or cool? But you couldn't be any of the others.
I'm gonna let Jason go first.
I feel like it's pretty obvious, but let's see what.
I mean, I feel like cool and sexy are kind of, you get one, you get the other a little.
Not
You can
really.
be sexy and not cool.
Yeah.
That's true, but you're gonna
I've
get
met
laid.
very
So I
There's
mean,
a lot
that's
of women
pretty
who
cool.
Are
I don't
very
know.
sexy and not cool at all.
That's true.
You can
That's
be
true.
cool and not sexy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you can be cool and not sexy.
So I choose crazy.
Oh,
I mean, what kind of crazy are you talking about here?
Well,
I mean,
that's the
this is
thing.
a legit question. Like,
Okay, you're and not necessarily crazy as you're like mentally insane.
Like
Crazy. Oh, he's a crazy guy. But if you're that kind of crazy and you're not cool,
it's too much crazy.
it's too much crazy. So I don't think you'd want to be crazy and not be sexy or cool.
I mean, if he wants to, let him.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm just
Let
saying.
him dance to it on drummer.
I mean, I think you gotta. I don't know. You gotta pick cool. I guess. Cool. I'm going with cool. Yeah, I'd rather be cool.
Cool's pretty sweet. I mean, everything else comes from cool.
Okay, you're cool, but you're also
Rude.
yeah. You're like Michelangelo or
That's Raphael.
Raphael.
Yeah. Sassy.
Get
No,
right.
but okay, so you're cool, but you're
Rude.
not sexy at all.
Well, then I'm going sexy then. I'm just gonna fucking.
So sexy, but you're not cool and you're not crazy.
yeah, whatever. I mean.
I feel like I'm going with cool. I feel like
Oh, yeah, that's not cool too. They all sound good. They're all good choices.
they're all good, but not when you eliminate the other ones. You got to have
okay,
like,
sure.
you got to have all three. You can't be crazy and not be cool.
You can't be the
Then you're just
strongest
crazy.
person in the world and be the dumbest, right? Like you don't.
Right. See, I don't know.
If you're cool, you're not crazy. You're not the best looking person in the world.
But you're still cool.
But you're still cool. You can probably still make a connection with people and
Yeah.
still pull women.
You could probably convince
or
somebody
whatever
that you're
trying to pull.
sexy.
That's what we were trying to
Yeah,
get,
I
right?
think
You can
so.
still get laid if you're cool. Yeah, okay.
Definitely,
I'm just
you
gonna
can
say
still
that out loud.
You can still get laid if you're cool. That is, I think we've all come to agree.
Yeah.
That's the strongest of the three by itself, but the three together are powerful, like Captain Planet.
Well, it's like, that's why TLC did it.
Yeah, it is. It is. Right.
They had all of it. So
Yeah.
look, it worked for them, but
It's really crazy though. I was just thinking about Andre Rison and Lisa Left Eye, and they were like, he was a football player,
Yeah.
and they had like kind of like a crazy thing going on, and
Tumultuous.
like exactly. I didn't want to say it, but I think I saw like VH1 one time, and they were like saying like, oh, she put all of his shoes in the bathtub and lit the bathtub on fire, then it caught the house on
she
fire.
burned the house down. Yeah,
Yeah, burned or
Holy
like
shit.
Yeah, and then so I don't know if they were in Central or South America, and I think they were just in a taxi together and got killed in a car accident. And it's just
that's how they died.
Yeah, that's how they died. But
I thought
I don't know
but
it's crazy too. And I think about this in traveling is one of the scariest realistic ways of dying is pretty probable is the cars aren't as safe in South America. The safety standards in like the US versus there are like very different. So like they can sell cars really
Yeah.
cheap. And they showed there's a video online and it showed like the crashes and what happened of like, oh look, the American wanted this mount and then the South American version of this car. And anyways, just crazy to think that like they both live kind of crazy lives in their own respects, and like they died in like a taxi ride.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. But I think also just the driving. I mean, I haven't been to South America, but driving in like Costa Rica, just getting out of the airport. Once you got out of there, it was fine. But driving through the city, it was just no rules. I mean, you're just
Sure.
fending
But
for
cars
yourself.
do go slower somewhat. The roads aren't as like wide. Like there's definitely like
Yeah,
a different tempo of things.
yeah.
Like
Well, I think they're
driving.
just used to it too.
Sure. Yeah.
Just kind of get in
Kind
wherever
of
you
like
can
driving
and
in
go.
Italy or whatever. It's just batshit crazy, and they all get along.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, who was Andre Rison though? I didn't.
He played for. He was like. I think he was a running back for the Kansas City
Okay, I
Chiefs
thought it
for
was
a
a football
while,
player.
and I think he was like. I'm sure a lot of dudes have gone with it, but he was like a Spider-Man. Like he would like try to stick to the goalpost afterwards or something. Or I don't know. Maybe.
That was his celebration.
I feel like.
a
I feel
Velcro
like.
uniform on, and then
I don't
like
know.
jumped.
Maybe
and,
he just mimed.
He
Maybe
just
he just
webs out of
mimed
the
the
stadium.
most.
Catching balls out of the sky.
But yeah, R.I.P. I honestly had no idea. I just remember she died, but I was like, I
Yeah, I
have
didn't
no
know that
idea
either.
how she died.
Can anybody name any other songs from that album?
Red Light Special, Waterfalls.
Oh God, you actually know more than that.
Well, outside of Waterfalls.
Let's
but
see if
you already
Matt
got one,
can
yeah.
not remember.
in
There was Creep.
sequential order. Yeah.
There was Creep. Yeah. So there's
Okay.
at least
Oh,
three.
yeah.
There was
yeah.
Creep. Yeah.
Oh wait, no Scrubs, right? Yeah.
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 Was that later?
we just
Wasn't
named
that
four of
later?
them.
I feel like that was.
No,
named four of
they
them.
only had one big album, I think.
Well, they had the one before, like.
What was Waterfalls from? Crazy Sexy Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then
That was.
and No Scrubs was on there too. I thought like that was like 2000 though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I felt
No
like
Scrubs was
was
2000.
No,
Yeah, it was
it
because
was way
I
back.
was at a stereo guy and some guy was getting a stereo put in right like aftermarket place. I was just browsing all the cool shit. And the guy kept playing it. You know, he probably played No Scrubs, like, no joke, like 7 times in a row. Of just like, these new component speakers sounded great.
It was a
And
banger
did,
for a long time, yeah.
But I was
Perfect
like, that was
production
like,
on
that
that.
had to be like 2001. And I
No,
can't
dude.
imagine they were
She
so
died
rocking
in what,
that shit.
94?
Yeah, wait. This just in. That was from fan mail, not from Crazy
Oh,
Sexy Cool.
I thought
wait,
so.
what? Really?
I thought so.
What
At
year
least
was
this is what Google says.
What year was fan mail?
99.
Wow. Okay.
Wait, which song?
No Scrubs.
Oh, holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Stand
Okay,
corrected.
so we named 3.
We
That's
did.
still pretty good.
Yeah. It's more than I can name if I didn't already look this up. But yeah, I think
I'm gonna blast on the way home.
cool beats out crazy and sexy. I think, yeah,
What's next though? What's number 2 though? If you had to rank them.
sexy. It's
Sexy. Yeah.
cool, sexy, crazy.
Sure.
Like, if you're crazy, even if you're not insane crazy, but I'm a fun-loving crazy guy. If you're not cool, then it's just like, okay, you're annoying.
That's
you
true.
end up like Lisa
That's
Left
true.
Eye Lopez.
Whoa, too soon. Too soon.
I mean, she was the crazy. Well, you just said the story where she lit a bunch of shit on fire.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Clearly she was the
her
crazy
crazy
one.
was
She
her
was.
demise. You know, I mean, maybe not.
Should have leaned more into the cool side, but
But I think you need a good mix. You really do of all 3.
yeah,
You know,
you,
gotta
can't
have-
just be one.
Yeah, no.
All right, so going into the history, so this place used to be it was a British colony. I know South Africa's kind of switched around. It was Dutch for a long time, and then British, and then back to Dutch. So it was part of this. It was part of a British colony at some point, and it was called Batuzo Land. So that's the people who are in Lesotho are Batuso.
Batuso.
Batusu.
Saw that.
But yeah, so that's like the people from this area, and the other thing with this country is it's one of the most like homogenous places. So basically, everybody from this country is Basotho. So there's not a lot of African countries. There's like a ton of different tribes or a ton of different ethnicities. This place, everybody's basically, I think it was 98% Basotho. So that's why it used to be Basotho land when it was a British colony. So that's why they speak English. They gained independence in 1966. So
From England?
from
Okay.
England. And I think once they became on their own, it was just kind of one of those things where like South Africa had a bunch of different regions that all kind of unified. And this was just one that was up in the mountains. And they're like, well, we'll just let those people do their thing. So that's kind of just how they've stuck it out. And
Because I feel like there's like 11 languages of like the tribal people or the indigenous people or something like that in South Africa already. So like if one group was already like,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
did speak English. I just mean, but still just.
yeah, there's a lot of, so South Africa, there's a ton of different like small territories, like almost how when Italy or Germany unified, they all had like their own different languages and stuff. it was like that. So this was kind of one, almost like San Marino, where they were just their own little territory, and they were just kind of like, all right, you can keep it there. I think too, with it being mountainous, it was just kind of hard to conquer. So they're just like, okay, we don't need that place.
They looked up the mountain.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuck that.
Too much water.
I mean, a bunch of English people or whatever. Yeah, like I'm not climbing.
well, this is later. Even like South Africans are just like, I guess we can just buy water from them and not have to deal with it. But
Just, like, pay the tax.
so that's kind of, there wasn't. That's what I was saying at the beginning of the show. There wasn't some crazy dictator. There wasn't some crazy king.
What's their rule? What? How do they rule? Like, what's
So they do have a
government?
king, but I think it's just. I think there's a king and kind of like a small parliament, I guess. But
Like a figurehead.
yeah, I mean, I think the king is still ruling because it is a kingdom technically, but
Okay.
I don't think it's. I think there's a lot of people who live in like the main city, and then a lot of just people spread out, kind of living rurally. So I think they kind of they're used to having like a king, so I think they just kind of accept like that's like their ideal form of government. But I don't think there's really a whole lot to govern here. It's really just
How many
Who-
people live here? Did we say that?
there was 2 million.
2 mil.
Most of the like I think it was a third of the people live in Maseru, in the capital, and then there's a couple of smaller cities, but it's not built up. It's not really industrialized. It's just kind of
Right.
a lot of probably small towns where people live, and still kind of a lot of almost like not nomads, but just kind of like they're almost off the grid living.
Right.
How do they sell all the water if they have no industrialization?
So they do. So that's kind of what they have a lot of dams, and I guess there was some project where South Africa invested heavily, and they basically put in some sort of system to get it over to them. I don't know if it was like a pipeline or what, but they do have dams. They do have like there is some sort of infrastructure, but I think a lot of the people are just kind of not living in that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people, like most of the males, at least at some point, either work in South Africa or work for the water distribution. So that's kind of you're either doing that or you're, like a agriculture hunter kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, there wasn't a whole lot with the history. No Mad Mike Hoare, no. Who was the last guy from Turkmenistan? None of those types of characters.
Or his
so.
dentist.
Yeah,
you know,
or the crazy dentist who's
who's still in power.
who's the now ruler. So yeah,
He did well for himself. That job has a high rate of suicide. Yet there he is, ruling Turkmenistan.
yeah,
I think
he
it's the
might be the
highest
most
of all the
successful
doctors.
dentist.
Of like dentists are like most likely to kill themselves of all the doctors.
Well, he's king, so I mean,
yeah, I know.
I think he's doing all right.
All right, so culturally, we said they have a king. Let's see the third, one of the 3 remaining kingdoms in Africa. Don't know the other 2.
Okay, we're gonna flash it on the screen though. Post.
We haven't got there yet.
One of the kind of crazy things with this country is a quarter of the population has HIV or AIDS, so it's very heavily affected. So I know it's like South Africa had a huge thing, but I think because they're so contained and they're so like not a lot of people travel around. There's not a whole lot of medicine there. I forget what the stat was, but there was something like a doctor for every, I don't know, however many people. So like they don't really have a lot of assistance, I guess, or a lot of
Good stat, dude. I like that.
yeah, that it kept coming up, so it was a big thing. But they do have it like they have this kind of partnership with Wales, so they're I guess they get a lot of people like assistance from Wales and people from there go to
Wales, the
Wales.
country. I did not. Sorry.
Yeah.
My brain.
But it's not a country. It's a territory. It's part of.
It
Yeah.
just did. Those did not connect. Like I didn't think of
Tell them.
Wales.
They do a lot of whale
Okay.
fishing.
I mean, they.
Yeah, but then it didn't make any sense because the country was landlocked and there's nothing but rivers.
But they
and
just
lakes,
got
and,
a
like,
new
wait, what kind
prince
of
and
whale are we
princess.
talking about
Wales
here?
did,
These
'cause
narwhals.
of the
Like, what's
king.
going on? These like
Narwhals.
they're magical,
I know,
mystical.
yeah,
He
yeah,
talked
I
about the
know,
land
yeah.
being mystical.
So the
My
country
brain
whales
went all over the place.
Yeah, we're going all over the fucking.
The country Wales, they have like a sort of like
Yeah.
they're like a sister country because I guess it's similar, kind of geographically. It's like hilly, mountainous. But I guess a lot of people from Wales go down there to kind of help out with like the AIDS assistants or
Random trip.
and then a lot of people from there go to Wales to study. So they have like
Interesting. Okay.
some sort of
And they all speak the King's English.
yeah,
So-
and they speak English too. So yeah, there's that going.
Is
for
that
them.
what your King's English sounds like? They all speak
look,
the
my
King's English.
I'm local.
Yeah, you don't speak the King's English.
I don't. No, that's my.
Another kind of depressing stat. So half the country's in poverty.
I'm bringing us down.
Hey, look, like I said, not every country can be Turkmenistan or have
Andorra
or
San Marino.
we got to go to some crazy ones. So they have like half the country's in poverty. They have a really low life expectancy rate. But a lot of it's like, I feel like a lot of the times when you have these countries that have low life expectancy, it's people are like jam packed in a city. There's a lot of stuff like they don't really have this. They just don't have technology. They're just,
Right.
you know, it's just
Kind of cut off from the rest of the world.
yeah, they're just cut off. So it's not, they're not living in, you know, if you see like a city in, you know, a slum in Bangladesh or something, it's like, okay, there's low life expectancy because there's
Drugs and all kinds of
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Here it's just kind of more, they don't have a lot going for them. So
Man.
one thing they do have going for them though.
Lesotho.
Yeah, Lesotho.
Lesotho.
So one thing they do have going for them that, and I don't know if it's going for them, but one thing they're known for is they do have a very distinct hat. And that's kind of their
fuck
iconic
yeah.
symbol.
Fuck yeah.
Well,
I'm
it's-
down with that.
On a brighter note, so they do have this hat. It's one of the main kind of tourist activities, I guess, is going to this hat shop in the capital. But it's kind of like almost like the like Asian style.
like the straw.
Rice.
Straw hats.
Yeah. Rice
So
patty.
it's a pointed hat. And so a lot of their buildings actually take the shape of this hat. But that's kind of what they're known for. It's on their flag. I don't.
can we throw a graphic on Jason's head of one of these
Yeah,
stores?
yeah. We'll
Just like that?
CG one of these
that
hats
right
on
here.
But yeah, so that's a big one of the big things they're known for is these hats. They also make these wool blankets that they're known for, like wool shirts or not shirts, but like a poncho kind of thing. So that's what everybody kind of wears there.
Those things that hippies wear.
Yeah,
Goddamn hippies.
Well,
But-
I mean, you know which jacket I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, of
when I say
course.
that.
Drug rugs.
Is that what they're called? I don't know.
Yeah,
I never,
maybe.
I always forget what they're actually called. I'm like, you know, the things that the druggies wear.
Maybe.
All right, so just going on hats. Let's talk hats.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
First, let's say what hats suck that you would never ever wear.
A Dallas Cowboys hat.
Okay,
Wow.
But I mean, what do you mean?
More like style of hat.
like a you know, one of the giant bucket.
if you
hats.
let's just say
or a top hat.
like wearing
You
a
can find
goofy
occasion
hat
for a top
isn't
hat.
socially acceptable. If you're wearing a top hat, just walking around.
Like an
But if you could wear a certain hat, what would it be? If you could get away, let's just say you could wear a top hat, would you? Or if you could wear like a drug rug type hat, like a Rastafarian hat, like a wool,
Sure. Yeah.
would you?
Maybe.
If you could get by with some kind of goofy hat.
Indiana Jones fedora.
Oh yeah.
Indiana Jones?
Yeah. I mean that's
You would be the fedora guy.
Well, not
I mean,
the,
that's
like,
like the
not-
leather.
not
I
the
think
little,
a leather
Jones one.
not the
It's-
little douchey with the feather thing,
Or just
like a
the-
leather. You know,
You're part of a dance
bigger,
troupe.
yeah.
You know, like that kind of.
I'm just kidding.
We can all agree.
I
like,
did have one of those like a while.
I owned a
back, though.
fedora
Yeah,
at one
everybody-
point, but it was mostly because I got it for like a gangster party in college.
Wow.
But
and then you just wore
I think
it?
I tried to wear it.
It's like one of those
I was
like
like, don't
Party
ever do
City.
that again. And I was like, all right, you're right.
Yeah, dark.
I got called out.
There was a skit like that, I think, on Workaholics, and they were like, "Okay, there's a lot of white guys. We can only have one fedora per
Andrews
group."
can't be the fedora.
Yeah, it's like, and like you do need the cool dude in the group to wear the fedora. Like the legit cool person needs that hat. Like not the guy who's like trying to be cool with a cool hat. Like you need a legit cool guy with the cool fucking hat.
Yeah, but I feel like
it just is good for the group. It's good for I don't know.
a cool guy wearing a fedora, it's just
Is it too
it's
much?
like it's going back to the crazy sexy cool thing. It's like you're trying to be sexy, you're trying to be cool, like now you're just crazy.
That's a good point.
That is, you can't try too hard.
I mean, I don't know. Like, what else? What other kind of hats are there? You know,
There's
the 10
millions
gallon-
of
10
hats.
gallon
Bucket hats.
Yeah,
bucket
But
hats.
you know,
Bucket
there's
hat.
actually it's like an academia
Is a
or like
considered a
a
hat?
question,
Yeah.
and it's not everything you can put on your head is a hat. Like there's this like thing because like So you
I
think
beg to
about that,
differ.
like,
Yeah,
well,
there's gotta
no,
be a
not
definition of
like
a
you put a
hat.
piece of cardboard on your head. Is it a hat?
Yeah.
You know?
I think anything on your head is a hat.
Wow, really?
I'm going all the
So
way in.
is a bandana a hat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
It can
you have a
be.
very you have a very loose.
Hey, I'm not going back on what I said.
He's not gonna take it back.
Yeah, a piece of cardboard. This is a hat, okay?
Yes.
No, okay, I guess if we wanted to find a hat, it's gotta have a circular, like,
A bill of some kind, or
I don't know if it has to have
No,
a
it doesn't have a
bill.
bill. Like a beanie is a hat.
It just got to stay on your head. But yeah, but then again, like, what's the difference between a beanie and a bandana? Like, how close are they?
It's obvious you have to tie one.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm saying as far as like the material on your head,
could you just lay a bandana on your
Yeah.
hat and that'd be considered on your hat?
I'm just saying,
on your head.
Yeah.
material wise, like a bandana and a beanie, if this was like the animal kingdom, it'd be like a bobcat and a house cat. It's like they're both cloths on your head, you know.
What about a yarmulke? Yarmulke.
I would say a yarmulke's a hat.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a hat. Yeah.
And how close is that? That would be like a cougar. I mean, that would be it's still super
Dangerous.
close.
Jeff with his analogies.
It helps me understand things better.
Yeah. If everybody out there is wondering, well, what is it?
Actually, I do have so you remember, I don't know if I've told this story on CountryBoyz before, but if I have, I'm sorry. But there was a point in high school where, like, you know, all these guys who were getting all the girls were, like, wearing Abercrombie. You know, this was, like, early 2000s.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
late 90s. When the fuck? Anyways, a lot of them would wear visors. You know, and I remember being like, dude, like, if I go get a visor, I'm going to be fucking getting girls and I'll be cool.
I always thought that visors,
upside down.
visors.
I don't know. I have options. I mean, I get it upside down, backwards, upside down, regular. You know,
it was
just
the 90s?
on. Yeah, late. 96 to 99.
Limp Bizkit style. didn't
Yeah,
they
I mean,
do
it-
I mean, I don't know if
things
they
are-
did it, but it was
No.
around that time, like the new metal.
I always
shit.
thought of visors as kind of like a raver thing. Like it was always like a raver
Or golf kids.
Or
kind of
golf.
thing.
Yeah, I guess there was a
Yeah,
preppy
for sure.
visor
golf,
too.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's still a thing in golf.
But there was a faithful trip to the mall with one of my best friends, and like I went, like we were going, I was like gonna get a visor, and like I tried them on, and it just didn't fit me. I have like a big skull on the side here, anyways, and like it just, anyways. My other friends are like, dude, that was a life defining moment. Like you were gonna be a visor guy, like everything was gonna change for you, and it didn't. And he's like, yeah, like that was like there's an alternate version of me who did become. He's like very successful.
Oh, yeah.
He's mildly happy with the family, and he's really good at golfing. And me, I didn't do any of those things.
He's,
So, I don't
he's out
know,
there in the
but-
multiverse.
Yeah,
somewhere.
he is though, and he has a fucking collection of visors.
I feel like once you go visor, you don't come back.
No, there's no straddling that line. You know,
I think I probably owned one when I was that age, but wore it a few times and then went back and never did again.
Yeah, I definitely didn't have a visor. Also, when I think of visors too, at least back in that day, it was like the poker visor, or just like
yeah,
the
with
green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one with some lights in it as a kid.
Yeah.
like that, but that was like little kid. I mean, that wasn't
Yeah.
choosing.
You're not wearing
it was
that
like
to
a
school
toy.
to pick up
maybe.
chicks in your light up visor, unless maybe you're
We're
at a
changing
rave.
that. We're gonna change it. We're bringing it back. Not that it ever was in, but I don't know what style hat would you? What was the question? Not
Hats.
wear?
If you could wear a crazy ass hat, what would you wear? If you could get away with it, of just like fuck it, I'm gonna wear a visor.
Dude, I have no idea.
Or like the visors that have like the spiky hair built in.
Oh,
already,
yeah.
you
Like the
know?
Guy Fieri visor?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. His hair is built in. I thought it was real. We're gonna be hearing from.
I've never
his
seen him
lawyers.
without a
Well,
visor.
no, by Jeff's definition, a wig is a hat.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I would argue a wig is more of a hat than a yarmulke. It covers more of your head and it sticks
That's
on.
true.
I mean, if we're going with that definition, then
Sure.
a wig's just a furry hat.
Touche.
That's true.
If you put fur on a beanie and it covers the beanie, when does it become a hat and then
Whoa,
a
we're
wig?
getting a little too deep here.
I love the deep philosophical ground that we cover here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like having some sort of, if you could just wear this like crazy Lesotho hat and just be like, why are you wearing that? Like,
I think we need to see what the Lesotho hat looks like. Because I mean, I don't know. I might wear. Did anybody ever get one of those like pine hats made with like when you're down on vacation in the Caribbean or Jamaica or whatever? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like
Like a straw
the beach guy hat,
Yeah,
the straw one.
yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's technically straw. Yeah.
You had to have had one of those.
Oh, for sure. It was in my closet for like years. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wear that again one day.
As far as like what hat though, like armored helmet, you know what I mean? I know that's like a stretch, but like, you know, like the Crusader style, like pretty solid. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, is that a hat? Is armor a hat, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what the material is. If
I'm
it
just
covers your head, then
So is a football helmet a hat?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess it is a hat. They do call it a
If
hat.
you put it on your head, according to Jeff, it's a hat.
I mean,
Yeah.
that girl in that picture made it look pretty stylish. I don't know, like that.
this is like the traditional one, and we'll put it up, but it's basically just a big pyramid
Oh, okay.
with a little
Yeah, you would look
ball
good in
at the
that,
top.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good
Jason
colors.
could pull that.
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Justin's wearing the fedora.
The Indiana Jones fedora. Let's.
Whatever.
A
It's a
chainmail
fedora.
coffer. That's cool hat.
Chainmail, yeah.
You know, where it's like the under the helmet.
Like a Scott Steiner chainmail? or-
Yeah, exactly. The Scott. Give me the Scott Steiner look. Who? Big Papa Pump. Oh, coming right up.
I'm lost.
It's a wrestling.
Okay.
I know it had to be.
But just like the old style chainmail that
Yeah, it
goes
was
around
like
your
there's
head.
like
Oh,
the went over
yeah,
this
yeah,
part,
yeah.
then you wore the
Like
chainmail.
the night.
Yeah.
just, like,
Exactly.
how-
I think
yeah.
it's called a coffer. I don't know, but we're
Got
gonna
it.
look into that and have our legal team make sure we're clear to say that.
I don't think any of those things are hats, but
they are.
Jeff's full of shit. It's a bobcat to a cougar or whatever.
At the
analogy
night
made.
graduation, they all take their coffers and throw that chainmail up, and then it comes back down.
I guess, okay, so you got chainmail, you got Indiana Jones. I guess if we're just saying we're just rocking a goofy hat, I'm going to go Davy Crockett with the
Ooh,
the
yeah.
rat tail.
Ooh, yeah.
raccoon?
Yeah.
You could pull that off.
I could pull it off. It'd be like having that look, you're definitely a guy who picks up
Tons
squirrels
of,
off the road. I mean, it just kind of goes with it, but like that with like a
I guess
fringe
they picks up
jacket.
tons of chicks. So it's like,
Well,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
Chicks
Actually,
that like roadkill.
I'm surprised no one said the French fur trapper / AJR hat. You know,
Is that the one with the little flaps?
yeah,
on
the
side?
flap. So like the,
Like the Russian hat?
the Minnesota hat or
Yeah.
Minnesota hat. you
Yeah,
know,
I think a
or-
Russian one.
I
I guess Russia,
Yeah.
but
I have
Russia's
one of- I
different.
have
I
one
feel
of
the
those.
Russian
I had-
one's like more over the top. I'm thinking more like fur trapper.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Like
I did have one of those Russian, like my mom went to Russia. This was back in the day, but she brought back like a gift, and it was like, oh, here's this like Russian arm like soldier hat. When I was a kid, I did love that hat. I wore it just like around the house. It was just like a Russian, like the
little
star.
Stalin over here.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
that's why you're such a commie.
yeah, I guess so.
Little Red Army Jeff.
I've always known it.
I learned it when I was 4. Oh yeah, communism.
Wait, your parents were in the military, right?
Yeah, right. That's
This was they show the Americans or whatever. He was the Soviet.
No, they had him too.
Yeah. Investigate his parents. His last name is spelled no.
Yeah, Walsh. So you're the last one. What's your hat? What's
Yeah,
your
what's
goofy
your
ass
hat, Emma?
Well, that's a good one, but I didn't think of it.
Do-rag? I could see you like
That's Jeff's
Yeah,
hat.
that's me
That's
too.
the one
That's
Jeff-
under
That's the one Jeff should have worn.
no, it'd be like what Noah wore as local knife criminal. Like that's a cool hat for Matt. With the lightning bolts on it.
Oh, like
Remember?
the
yeah, it's got the like flap in the back.
like the gas station. Not I guess
Yeah, kind of like the gas station do-rag. It's
that's more like
premium.
that's like the old white guy biker do rag versus like
Sure. He's
But-
got it. You know, the guy who has that has a knife. I'm just gonna tell you, like, I'm not even like making it up. Like, the guy who wears that has a knife. So be careful how you argue with him.
Yeah.
Because
all right. I see you in a raspberry beret, like the Prince
the
song.
kind you get in a secondhand store.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do see Matt in that.
if we're gonna go worst hats, I think berets have to be the
Yeah, those are really bad.
berets just suck.
Yeah.
There's never.
I mean,
no matter how cool you are,
I mean, they're like military dudes can kind of pull it off with a uniform. And
Yeah, if you're wearing the uniform.
I feel like Jean-Claude Van Damme had a beret on a couple times. Right. Pretty badass.
But he was
in
also
some
French
roles.
and could kick
in
your
Belgium.
ass. So
I think he's
like,
from Belgium.
Military berets
whatever.
are the exception.
Okay.
They speak
But,
French in Belgium.
like
don't they?
artistic
That's true, they
berets.
do. That's why French fries got confused.
I don't know.
And I guess there is a difference because like the military ones are more
they flop.
where like the artistic ones are just kind of like puffy at the top and have like
true.
the little like
That's true.
waft or whatever.
I think I'd do the straw hat. Like I'd get somebody from Jamaica to make me a hat while they were also rolling a blunt at the same time or something like that.
I think we have our hats for the next episode, so
We all got to wear those
Make sure
hats
to-
next episode.
Yeah.
get them on
Chainmail-
Amazon.
Get my chainmail coffer.
yeah, you have the
It'll be a lit.
hardest one to find.
I want to make it. I want it out of mithril though. Okay? Don't fuck around.
All right, so food and drink, not a whole lot, really. Their main, I saw this come up. One of the main foods was called pap, and it's cornmeal porridge with oatmeal and boiled water. So
You gotta boil the water.
I don't know if that was like a or like a. It was like kind of in between.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody eat oatmeal without boiled? Well, I mean, I know.
I mean, it's like a
sauce.
sauce. It's basically like an oatmeal with vegetables, and I don't know.
Right.
Doesn't
But the fact
sound
that-
too good.
But the fact that boiled water was a listed ingredient, I thought that was kind of a given when it comes to oatmeal.
Yeah, I mean,
porridge.
Don't get all technical.
boiled
on
in
it,
water
right?
or milk, but yeah. So
Do you eat your oatmeal with cold water?
Yeah, I do
You're
actually.
full of shit.
Yeah, I overnight oats, man. I'm not even kidding. I
Okay, I
overnight
guess that's
oats.
true. Yeah, I forgot about
I've
that
been
shit.
I've been doing that for like the last month, and don't even fuck with me right now.
you don't boil your water? No, actually, I don't.
I kind of forgot about the overnight oats part.
Yeah, so this place they don't do overnight oats. And
They
then,
haven't gotten there yet. They don't know about it. It's like cold brewing. It started in Austin. You know, we had to like send it out to the rest of the world to cold brewing coffee.
Did we?
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
That's why all those cold brew national companies are all like Austin. A lot of them are Austin companies now because they all like jumped on it. But
didn't know that. So the other thing, I mean, they have. I feel like this is every other country that we've been to. Oxtail stew, some sort of like ox stew. I feel like that's always like an ox curry, ox stew. I feel like that's everywhere. But yeah, they have that here. So that's about it. Activities. So this is one of the only places you can actually go skiing in Africa. So it's called Afro-Ski. And yeah, they have a whole, I don't think it's like a big ski resort, but you can ski in Africa. So this is the place to go do it at Afro-Ski.
Do they have an Olympic team?
No. So they don't have there's not a whole lot of famous people. Didn't see a lot of Olympians.
I mean, Jamaica has a bobsled team.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
country
I
that
figure
has
they got
an
a-
actual ski
they
resort
got some
does not have
slopes.
a bobsled team.
Yeah, I think their ski resort's kind of just for like,
Show and tell.
or no, for like rich South Africans to go skiing. So I don't think it's like a very nice ski resort. Like I don't think it's a place you could go train for the Olympics. You can go skiing,
Right.
but I forget how long they said the slope was, but it wasn't very long. So you can ski. Probably not the best place to go ski. They have a bunch of national parks, and then they do have a super high pub that looked kind of cool, but it's basically like, I forgot what it was called, but it was called the pub at the end of, not the end of the world, but they have this pub somewhere up in the mountains. So everything's kind of isolated though. So not really a whole lot as far as, oh, you got to go see this. You go see the waterfall, maybe go skiing.
I don't
Drive
know,
around in the
the pub
mountains.
just changed things for me.
The pub did look cool. I wish I forgot what it was called, but it's like some pub up in the middle of these mountains, but it does look like a cool place. All right, so that kind of does it. Not a whole lot with this one, but what do y'all think?
Well, you brought up one fact that kind of turns that a little bit of a way, but I mean, outside of it, it sounds all right. It sounds like it'd be worth visiting some of these, the parks. The geography looked cool.
Yeah, it does look crazy, and it doesn't look like Africa as far as if you just,
Yeah,
most of the countries and terrain that's in Africa, it's definitely very different. So that's kind of cool.
Can you wear the hat as a tourist? Like, can you go buy a hat?
Yeah.
Or is it like super like
No. They're not.
exclusive?
They're not uppity about their hats.
Because that hat looks pretty cool.
So one of the main tourist attractions is this hat shop, where you buy one of these.
I think it'd be cool to go get one.
Yes.
So yeah,
Like, say I went to this country, I drank at this pub at the end of the world or whatever it's called, and got a hat.
yeah. You get yourself a drug rug, get yourself a hat.
Yeah, the drug rug too.
I might get us some drug rugs. I saw some used ones the other day
Yeah.
at us. They've been washed.
You can just buy a blanket and cut a hole in it, dude.
No, I don't.
I still wouldn't wear
Buy a
one,
Mexican
even if it was
blanket.
washed.
I'm gonna get you a nice drug rug.
There's no such thing as a nice drug rug.
I'm sure
So
there
you're
are.
in, right?
I think I'm down.
It's in. I'm in. He stole my shit, but yeah, getting a hat, going to the
stole
bar,
your
the
shit.
pub up there. Yeah. Same reasons I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, sounds worth
Probably not gonna have sex with anybody there.
I would go, but I think the selling point with this country is like if you're in South Africa and you do all this other badass stuff and see all these animals, like the terrain is so much different, geography is different. Like there's these waterfalls. Like if you did spend 2 days in this country or a couple days, I think
Yeah.
you spent like 10 days in South Africa. I think that would be a good
Yeah.
trip to that part of the world.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I'm in. I think we haven't had a unanimous decision in a while, I feel like. But yeah, I think I'm in. Same kind of thing. If you were down there and just, wanted to see something different, it does seem pretty unique. And yeah, those hats are pretty damn cool. So hey, we're
All right, we're going.
going. Well, I think for the next one, so we have a lot of African countries. We still have a lot of Asian countries. So maybe we'll do an Asian one next
Okay.
time. But and then after that, we'll have our 20th episode. And we'll do our best of.
Ooh.
Do we'll compare some of the countries we've been to and see how they hold up against each other.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
But all right,
Some special guests, maybe.
yeah, maybe we'll get Champagne Shane.
Champagne Shane.
He's
Some mystery
busy.
guests.
He's
Maybe some
busy.
other
We'll
people.
try.
We'll-
Yeah, get some
No
snacks.
promises. We'll
Get
have some
snacks from
queso,
the best
some
countries.
chips.
A whole bunch of stew because that's pretty much all.
Yeah,
we've heard
we'll
of.
have to have
Ox
oxtail
stew.
soup.
Oxtail soup.
But yeah,
What
so
about that oatmeal we were just talking about?
Cold brew oatmeal.
Boiled water, sir.
All right, whatever, dude.
all right, we'll get around to that when it comes to it, but I think we've made our decision on this one, and yeah, we'll see where we go somewhere in Asia, but I think we'll go to Asia next.
Cool.
All right, we'll see you there.
Cheers.